Dude, I'm always feeling like trash. I legit like probably need to go to the doctor.
Yes.
Like,
Yes, very much so. Hey, doc, I
I'm
don't know.
okay.
Something's wrong. I don't know. Fix me. Tell me what to do.
Okay, so honestly, I feel like okay, this might just be a male thing. This might be a stubbornness thing, but
It's a
I'm like,
stubbornness
I'll
thing.
figure it out.
It's a male thing. I don't need the instructions. I don't need the map. It'll work
Right,
itself out in a couple days.
right.
But
I'm
for
like,
you, it's
okay,
been like a couple months.
right, right.
So
I
at
know
that
it's been,
point, it's
it's
like,
been a
yeah, probably
couple
I
months, dude.
should now go figure this out.
Yeah, and it's gotten worse in the last like couple of days too. I'm like, ugh, you know. And okay, so I think what made it even worse is like I got less sleep and I ate less. So it's just like those two on top of each other really made a bad combination. And I had to go do things too.
That was a
So it's
long
just like,
day.
yeah,
Early
I had to
for
go.
Wednesday morning and then late for the movie. You probably didn't sleep in between.
No, I like I said, I barely slept. I slept maybe like 30
I
minutes.
went home after Wednesday morning and I slept for 3 hours.
I should have. I
Woke
really
back
should
up,
have.
washed my car, then went to the movie.
Yeah, and the thing is, after that, after I did the Wednesday morning thing, I had to go pick up my mom because her car broke down. Get this,
Yeah,
her
you
car
mentioned it.
broke down. Like one of the tubes connecting to her engine or
And
something like
you
that.
mentioned it. It was probably like some radiator hose or something.
Probably something. I don't know what
Because
it
you
was,
said coolant,
but
so.
they're like it's gonna cost 3K to fix it at the Crevier Mini. Like there's a Santa Ana Auto
Well, yeah,
Mall.
because you went to the dealership. Of course, it's gonna
Yeah, the
cost a
dealership. Like
it's
I
gonna
mean,
cost an
that's
arm
where
and a
she
leg
went.
regardless.
Yeah, of course it's gonna be crazy expensive.
Just go to the Pet
So
Boys.
so she got it towed over to there, and then she called up one of her friends, and her friend is just like, hey, we can get it done cheap. And then she's like, okay, cool, let's tow it over there. So I had to go help her, go take her over there, and then wait for the guy to like make sure he gets the right car, of course, and then take her back home. So then after that, I go immediately to do the COVID test, which did I send you the picture of it negative? No, I screenshotted it,
No,
but
you
it came
didn't.
back negative.
Well, we don't need
Um,
it anymore, so
we're gonna have to get a new
you're
one.
gonna have to get. Did you have to pay for it? Or was it one of the free ones?
No, it's free,
Oh, sweet.
dude. I literally went over there. I took a little like a cotton swab
Oh, the
thing,
swab in your nose or whatever.
swabbed it in my nose like
Yeah,
a little bit, and then just put it in a vial, and then
gave it.
plopped it in the receptacle,
Yeah,
and then I was off on my way.
yeah. Because as of right now, I think they said that it was postponed, but those who have bought tickets will be credited with tickets for the new date.
Right?
So it's not canceled.
Yeah.
Everybody was
Postponed
freaking
means
out. I know everybody
we're
was
gonna do
freaking
it
out
some
that
other
that
time.
it still might eventually be canceled. Postponed to a later date. New date will be announced shortly. So
You know what? I'm actually kind of relieved because the thing is,
right now
I'll be
you need rest,
right now I need
not
rest.
to go
And
to a
after,
3-hour rock concert that's going to be loud and hectic.
dude, if I had to do that, I don't know if I could do it. Like
Oh,
I would
and
probably.
Oscar couldn't go anyway.
Oh, Oscar?
Yeah,
Was he wanting to go?
yeah. Well, you were right there. He talked about it. He's like,
Yeah, but I wasn't
let
sure
him
if
know.
like he was actually
Yeah,
like gonna
he
do it.
wasn't. He's like, okay, can I bring my fiance? Yeah, there's two more available. And he's like, sweet. And then he's like, how much were they? I'm like, blah 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 blah. And he's like, oh, I can't do that right now. Sorry. And I'm
Yeah,
like, all right, no, all good. Do the next one. There's
yeah.
a Metallica concert in December, but
A Metallica
that's
concert.
down in San Francisco.
Down in? You mean up there?
If it's not where you live, it's always down in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, down in Arizona. Oh, down in Canada.
Down in Canada.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. Down
Yeah,
with the sickness.
up in Australia. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's for I think their 40th anniversary or something.
40th. Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
Speaking about bands that are old, like my favorite band, they're getting old.
I
Red
know
Hot
we've
Chili
talked
Peppers.
about this.
We have?
Yeah,
Oh, rip, we have.
because we
You're
brought
totally
up
right.
Metallica and then we brought up everybody's ages. Yeah.
Oh, you're right, dude.
I think when we
Recycle,
first talked about the concert was when we brought up that same topic.
recycled content, bro. I
Recycled
mean,
content.
we're just talking about the same thing, so it's like, of
Yeah.
course, it's gonna pop up.
Yeah.
Um, we're just so forgetful over here. We're just like old men. We just
Like
forget,
our favorite bands, old men.
like our favorite bands. What were we talking about? I don't
I
remember.
don't remember. Is that your version of an intro?
That is my version
That's
of
your
an
version of an intro. Well, welcome, everybody. It's episode 10. We made it to double digits.
10,
We're in double digits now. We're in the end game now. In fact,
Heck yeah,
we're
dude,
not
we
in the
made
end
it.
game. We're in before the end game because we saw Black Widow yesterday.
Oh. Yeah,
And
maybe we'll actually figure out how to actually talk about stuff now, because we're in double digits.
Because we're older now.
We're older,
kinda know
more
what we're
mature.
doing. We're in middle
We've
school.
learned.
We graduated middle school. When do you graduate to middle school? What
After
age?
5th grade.
Well, what age would that be?
I don't know, like 11, 10,
11 or, I don't know.
I think. Yeah, 10, 11, 12. No, 11, 10, 13. I think you get into 8th grade at 13. I don't know, dude.
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. But yeah, we're on episode 10, and we're going to talk about Black Widow. Get ready for that, because we
And
saw
Loki.
that last night. We're going to talk about...
I'm going to talk about Loki, because the season finale was also yesterday.
Hunter's going to talk about Loki.
I'm going to talk about Loki.
Loki.
Which I want you to watch. So,
yeah, we're going to hop right into it.
what did you think of this movie, Mark? I'm mixed.
What did I think?
Honestly,
I mean, apart from the characters being fine, bro. I mean, especially the sister.
Florence Pugh.
Yeah, she was fine.
You know what
Of
Kevin
course, I'm
called
speaking
her?
of the older version.
Yeah. You know what Kevin called her?
What?
Florence Poon.
No. Terrible.
Like, he thought that was... I'm like, that's not right, Kevin. That's something else.
That's so bad.
She's cute.
Yeah, she's cute.
Bro,
she's cute.
her in the after credit scene. Beautiful.
Flame, dude.
I love that jacket. That yellow plaid. That just looks it looked comfy.
And the pants were like the same as well.
Yeah. She looked comfy too.
So what did I think about the movie? I mean, obviously you called it, where it was going to open with that.
I called it opening with a flashback.
I liked that, that callback to, or not callback, I guess flashback, just to kind of set a
bit of her like origin-ish.
Yeah, just to figure out like,
stuff.
Okay, her family, and then what does that mean to her? Yeah, her family,
quote unquote family.
You know what? We're gonna have spoilers in this thing. Like, we're not gonna.
Let's start just a little bit of general thoughts.
We're gonna start with general thoughts,
and then we'll go spoilers heavy.
We'll probably have spoilers throughout this podcast. Like,
it's a week after the movie's out. I think we're pretty okay.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Black Widow, too bad.
Pause it right after our initial thoughts. We will give a spoiler heading. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'll give a spoiler heading so people can turn it off and then come back, or skip to when we talk about Loki.
Yeah, they could.
And then they can come back and watch the spoiler bit or listen to it.
Anyways, movie was good. Honestly, it was good but not great. Let me tell you what.
That is my definition of most Marvel films. Good, enjoyable, great moments, good characters, not something to like celebrate a gigantic thing about.
Yeah, not something that I'd necessarily rewatch. Like, this is not like something I'm like, oh man, bro, like this is a good movie. Like, this is my favorite movie right now.
It's good. No. If it was on TV, I wouldn't change the channel.
Yeah. It's like a song that's on the radio and your phone died and you can't put the Bluetooth on.
Not even that. It's like if you have a big playlist and you're like, this is in my playlist. It's in a culmination of things I like.
Yeah.
But I'm not feeling it right now, but I'm okay with letting it play out.
That's a good
I enjoy this song. I enjoy bits of it, but I don't hate it to the point to where I need to skip it.
Yeah.
And I don't love it too much to where I need to put it on repeat.
So I feel like, I mean, obviously the effects were fantastic.
Parts.
Whoa. Bro, the effects were dope.
Parts of it.
The explosions?
Explosions look great because explosions are easy to replicate. You look at, like, people, it's a little bit harder to replicate.
Like what? Like what do you mean?
Red Guardian when he's doing all of his jumping when we first meet him.
Oh yeah.
And like he like grabs things like he looks a little rubbery. His physics, that's just, it's hard to get human movement correct in CG anything. It's really difficult.
I don't think it took away from the movie though.
No, you don't. I only notice it because it's what happens when you watch so many movies and you study it, that the stuff sticks out. To the average person, they're like, "Oh, cool, he did a gigantic jump."
Yeah. So speaking about the Red Guardian, actually, I loved his character.
Oh, you liked him?
I liked him because he was so corny and just funny. Like, in the beginning, in the flashback, he was like this serious dude. But then after having like gone through prison, he just like obviously he changed, but he was just funny. Like he made dad jokes.
Yeah. You know, he was the fake dad.
Yeah, fake dad, but still, he was, I guess, the comedic relief in the film.
That was his entire purpose, I believe, of that movie. He has
purpose.
Like other moments here and there, but his main purpose was to give jokes and to be a punching bag for Taskmaster, because he gets destroyed in that fight.
Yeah.
That you see in the trailer a little bit.
Taskmaster. Remind me, which one was Taskmaster?
The one with the mask. And that.
Oh yeah. The
one with the big, quote unquote, twist.
Yeah. The one with the shield. The mimic.
Yeah, the mimic.
I didn't realize that her name was Taskmaster.
Yeah, spoiler, it's a her.
Oh, my bad.
That was everybody's speculation, was that it was probably a woman.
Okay, but obviously, like you said yesterday, the
stunt double was a dude. I looked it up too to
100%.
make sure the stunt double was a guy, but the woman that does play the real Taskmaster is also a female. She's a stunt double as well.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sure it was probably a lot of like two people playing like specific stunts for this person, specific fights for this person. So like they probably traded off, I assume.
Yeah.
But I think they also did that to like throw people off too. So like it has this more male aesthetic to make the twist a bit more. And they kept saying,
expecting it.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be that specific person either. Well, we can save that because that's a whole nother bit of a topic in itself and who it is.
Yeah. Okay. So what didn't make sense to me is like, why would it be that person if if that happened to her,
and then that other person that was also there came out
didn't
of it
even get affected?
Yes, exactly.
It's like it just didn't make any sense. It was bad writing.
MCU movies are known to have pretty low standards for villains.
Yeah.
Like you have like Loki, Thanos, and like if you count Winter Soldier as a villain when he was first introduced.
Yeah.
Those are like the top 3 that people talk about. Every other villain was kind of meh. And the writing for villains are kind of meh. Yeah.
I like Loki just because he has character to him.
He's a charisma and a swag.
Yeah, he's not one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Like other villains.
Yeah. Also, that character was very one-dimensional because they did not speak.
Yeah.
And they were pretty much. I was watching the movie.
Just a robot.
They were the Terminator. They were the Terminator. Yeah. I could totally hear the music. They were just the Terminator. Constantly going after Natasha or the other stuff too. But like doesn't talk, menacing, looks like a sci-fi like weird colorful version of Darth Vader. A little bit.
I thought more like Boba Fett type vibes.
Yeah.
I mean, not Darth Vader.
I'm talking about like the way like the mask looked like weirdly like some like skull version of Darth Vader with color.
I guess
it's not Boba Fett because it has like a skull on like the teeth area.
It honestly looked kind of like a motorcycle helmet.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. Which is what like most helmets are.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't very cool, I think. It looked great when like the hood was on. That whole aesthetic was cool, but then like it would come off and it looked like a robot. Which I think was part of what they wanted to go for. Because it was a very dehumanized character.
I feel like there were gaps in the story too. I was just like, wait, how are you supposed to understand any of this? Well, not any of this, but like some of it if like where did where did this character come from? Like, why did they have a shield first of all, and then like, why?
Okay. The backstory. I'll start with the backstory of the character Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Taskmaster is another person entirely, like in comic book lore.
Mm-hmm.
Their name is Anthony Masters.
Wow.
And like he has like this like it's not like a photographic memory, but it's something like that. It's like physical like memory. Like he has like, he's not like a superhero, or he doesn't have like abilities per se, but like he has like this memory to where like he can watch someone do something and he can just copy it. So like what the idea was in this movie was that this person has like the ability to watch these other superheroes fight, like the footage of them fighting, and then be able to copy their moves to be like more effective in combat against other people or that same person. So like he had the shield, or she had the shield, and that was supposed to mimic Captain America.
Yeah, that was a
like
bunch of crap.
they watched, because when he first oh my gosh, I'm gonna be doing this so much, I apologize already. Gets first introduced and watching just footage of heroes fighting in like that white room, and it's just scanning all the footage because he's literally just learning how to fight based off of all these superheroes. So it was more of like a robotic enhancement version in the movie compared to like the lore that I know of.
Yeah.
Which is like he, in the comics, he like learns, like he can learn on the fly. Like he's fighting someone in that moment, he can see what they're doing and he can copy it and he can deflect it because he instantly knows how it's all going to work out. So like the back and forth of fighting that kind of person to have to think how to outsmart him, I think could be really interesting, but like they just turned it into like a Terminator thing.
Yeah.
And it was like he did it once, because Black Widow always does that bit where like she jumps and like she wraps her legs around and she throws them on the ground or whatever.
Yeah,
that's like her scissor move or whatever with her legs that she always does. On the bridge, she did that, and then he immediately did it back to her. So I'm like, oh, he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, no.
But then it was more so like he's just copying different Avengers and like fighting styles. Like he had the bow and arrow, and then he had the Black Panther claws.
Yeah, I saw all that. That was,
and that was like that was to the extent of like his abilities, which wasn't much, in my opinion.
Yeah, I didn't really like that character.
I think it could have. I didn't care for it, but I think it worked for the story they were trying to give, which was who the person was, not so much who Taskmaster as a villain. Because the villain isn't Taskmaster. The villain is Red Room and that whole like organization.
Yeah, whatever his name was, Dostoevsky.
Dreykov.
That's what it was, not Dostoevsky. I
don't
even know. I don't even know what that is.
Dos Equis.
But
like, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. I lost it. Crap! I lost it. Dang! It was really good too.
Darn.
What was I talking about?
Taskmaster?
I was talking about Taskmaster.
Then you were talking about Dostoevsky?
No, you brought up Dreykov. The main villain wasn't the Red Room, or there wasn't Taskmaster, it was the Red Room. Got it. So, when they first introduced Taskmaster, it's initiate the Taskmaster protocol. So it's not a person. It's like a protocol. So it's like anybody could technically be a Taskmaster.
Right.
That was the first one. That was like the prototype of this kind of person. Yeah. So technically they could still do Taskmaster in a different way based off of what everybody knows. Like they could introduce it somehow based on, there was another person that was also in the program, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And they could do the whatever Anthony Masters, the actual guy, or what.
Yeah.
Because they're doing that with the Mandarin in Shang-Chi or whatever. Do you remember Iron Man 3?
What?
Remember Iron Man 3?
Yeah.
At all? And like the guy that was the Mandarin was just like an actor or whatever. And like that's the Mandarin was that other guy the whole time. And they're like, that doesn't work at all. And they're retconning that, and the real Mandarin is going to be in Shang-Chi or whatever.
Oh,
So like
dude,
they
that
could
movie
do
looks
that.
sick though.
They could do that somehow with Taskmaster and be like, oh no, this is the real Taskmaster that everybody knows and remembers.
Oh, I
So
see.
I
I
mean,
see.
they do have an ability to retcon it because they said it was a program, it wasn't a person.
Right.
So they could still retcon it later down the line, and they could still have that other Taskmaster that was in this movie, like fill out stories somewhere else as like a new person because she's no longer part of that whole thing since
Yeah.
Red Room fell apart or whatever.
Okay, so I just want to say that everything, I mean, obviously this is how these superhero movies go, but it's just like everything is so like perfect, like they just always tend to work out. Like there's never any really any friction, you know. Like
Marvel movies, yeah.
when it's just like, oh, they get Red Guardian, and it's just like, show us where the Red Room is. It's just like, oh, Melina, like your mom, you know, she's the one who knows. Let's go talk to her. And then it's just like, okay, let's go find her. We know exactly where she is, you know? And then it's just like they get to her place.
That's how movies work. That's every movie, man. That's not just these movies. That's every movie. Things need to be convenient for the story to continue.
I think no, I understand this, but I think with Marvel, they do it in a way where it's just like, it seems kind of cheesy.
That's Marvel because Marvel wants to reach every audience possible, so they make it cheesy and fun for the kids, and then they make it like action-y for the adults so everybody can go see it.
Yeah.
Like this movie, there's a lot in here that they just gloss over. Like that's really like fucked up.
Yeah,
like the stuff with taking the girls at a young age, and they live in shipping containers, and they're
brainwashing them.
And that's all just glossed over with like jokes.
Yeah,
I mean, Marvel does that a lot, so you can't. That's their formula. You can't really complain anymore because that's just how they do it, which sucks for doing things new and fresh, but that's just how they do things. Unless it's like an Endgame or an Infinity War or like a big movie, they tend to stick to their formula pretty simply. So, like a lot of the stuff with Red Guardian, he's a joke vehicle, but he could have had some really good moments with the girls.
Yeah. I mean,
he had the one moment in the bedroom.
There was one moment right before the Red Room guys came in.
Yeah, when he started to sing the song.
He started singing the song.
Yeah. Which was very, very sweet.
It was sweet. I liked that moment. We'll
go spoiler territory now. Who cares? Because I would consider that a spoiler moment.
Yeah, whatever it is.
It's that's a really nice moment.
But
right before that, there's like a moment of talking about pissing on his hands because he was getting frostbite.
That was so random. Like, why did he bring up that story?
I think it's because he's a very flawed person.
Yeah, he is.
Like he's like to the point to where he's like so insecure about himself, he just wants everybody to love him because he doesn't get the love because he was immediately like betrayed and put in prison. He was supposed to be like the poster boy Russian Captain America. He was the only version that got the serum. He was this crimson hero or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like they throw him in this undercover story as a family man to get this information.
They just kind of dicked him a little bit.
Yeah, they threw him around, and then like he's like, I want to get back in the action, and then they throw him in prison instead the whole time. So like he never got his chance.
Yeah.
He got a very little small window probably, and we didn't get to see it because that was before probably he was on that family undercover thing.
Yeah, and then people kept like making fun of him in prison. They're like, "Oh yeah, Red Guardian, ha ha ha! It happened before Captain America." Like
the guards.
Yeah,
they took all of his fan mail or whatever that he kept getting.
Oh, you have some fans.
Yeah, and then they were eating the food that they were sending to him.
Yeah.
And then he purposely is like, don't make a scene when he's escaping, and then he busts through the windows so he could get the food that they sent him, and that's the only reason he did that.
That's crazy.
But he has a lot of potential to be a good character, and I know David Harbour's great.
Dude, David Harbour, he's cool. He's cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
I like him as an actor.
I was just watching his Hot Ones interview he did.
Nice.
Right before this, so.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be just in the beginning of the film, where it's just like, oh, he shows like the lead up to, how the girls came to be, and then like they got taken and yada yada yada. Just kind of that like lead up in that story. I didn't realize he was gonna be in the whole movie. Not like I would know, but
yeah. I think he has the potential for a really good like series. If they do a series, he could be really fun to have, like a series of him like in his. David Arbor's talked about this, which I think could work really well. It's like him in his glory days when he was still Red Guardian, which would be really fun to see.
I would watch that.
Yeah, but there was another version that he said he was like trying to work out, which was pretty much where the sisters, where Yelena's going after after Natasha dies, going to find Hawkeye.
Ooh.
But that story is already kind of taken by what Yelena's doing.
Yeah.
With the after credit scene.
Do you know anything about that, or is that
the Hawkeye
like,
series?
Yeah.
Yes. I think they finished filming. It's pretty much about Hawkeye passing the torch to his successor, which is
dude, I never even liked Hawkeye, to be honest. He was always kind of lame.
Kate Bishop. I knew it was Kate something. Kate Bishop is his successor. Played by Haley Steinfeld.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
And there's some set photos, and it looks really good. She looks beautiful as always.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course, Hunter.
Of course. So that's like all that people really know, is that it's kind of like a passing of the torch. But now we know there's a little bit more, that maybe Yelena will show up, and there will be some like some closure for both of them as characters for Natasha's death. Because that was never really talked about in Endgame. It was kind of like, it was more about Tony's death in the end.
Right.
There was just that one little scene that they had about with Wanda and Clint by the river, but there wasn't much. So I think that's what that show's really going to be about, is their closure. We might learn about Budapest.
Yes, Budapest. Okay, I thought that was really cool.
Well, the joke.
I thought that was really cool that they included my hometown. Okay?
I mean, that's been a part of the MCU story for a while. There's this like ongoing story that keeps being talked about but is never told, which is what happened with Hawkeye and Black Widow in Budapest. They had they keep referencing it, and it's never talked about, they've never explained it. So this movie gave a little bit more, which was the safe house that the sister was in. He's like, what are those bullet holes? Those are arrows. So that's a little bit more of the story, but we still don't know it. And we hid up in these vents for 2 days. That's also a part of that same story. So it's they've hinted at this grand idea of what Budapest was for these two characters. So
interesting.
I forgot if it was a rumor or people were talking about that might be explored in the Hawkeye show a little bit. They might finally reveal what that whole mission was or whatever. So that's its own little thing that might be explored more. I kind of like the idea of being explored more, but I kind of like the mystery of it just being this mission that nobody knows about that just seems super crazy, because probably whatever they explain it as isn't going to be as wild as people think it is. Mm-hmm. Giving these little seeds makes it fun, but I feel if they explain it all, it would lose the magic of what that story. Because in every scene they are in together in every other MCU movie is they talk about it.
Yeah.
Just like Budapest, right? You and I remember that very differently. They mention it a lot.
Yeah.
So
you think,
I think it might be referenced more in the Hawkeye show. I don't know if they'll just straight out show it.
What's your speculation on it? What is your take?
On what the mission was or whatever?
What do you think that could be, the Budapest story?
Well, from the way maybe I just wasn't, I missed something during the movie, but where did they kill Dreykov's daughter? Chug that milk.
It was in Hungary.
Was it in Hungary that they killed Dreykov's daughter?
Yeah, because they said that they had the Hungarian like police or whatever.
Yeah.
Or military or whatever it was.
Excuse my American knowledge, but Budapest and Hungary, where are they? Where is this foreign countries go? One is inside the other, probably, right?
Yes,
Budapest that's what I assumed.
Is the capital.
That's what I assumed.
Hungary.
That's what I just didn't want to be wrong. You're a resident Hungarian, so
yes.
So my assumption is that the Budapest story is them being on the run and hiding out after killing Dreykov, or they thought that they killed Dreykov when they blew up the building or whatever.
Interesting.
And they were in hiding for however long that they said it was, and that was the Budapest story. Was they were on the run throughout that city because they just killed what's his name.
Yeah.
So, because she was defecting to S.H.I.E.L.D. She was still a part of the Red Room, but she was defecting to S.H.I.E.L.D. And to defect to S.H.I.E.L.D., her final mission was to kill Dreykov.
Mm.
And which turned out to be the daughter, and the daughter was Taskmaster or whatever. But which that didn't make any sense to me, because like she's like scarred on her face or whatever from the explosion, right?
She doesn't look that bad though.
No, she doesn't. But Dreykov had nothing wrong with him.
Nothing.
He was supposedly there too, which you could say was that he actually wasn't there. Which you could say, I guess, but like he's unscathed. So either the daughter was in on it and like just went along with it, and maybe the daughter was mind controlled too.
At that point,
probably.
I don't think so though.
Because if he was in that building when it went off, he would have some sort of scars. He has nothing on him.
Yeah.
So maybe he got wind of what they were doing, and he has no remorse as a person, and just
used her
was
as
probably
a pawn.
using his daughter as some sort of an experiment at that time for the mind control stuff.
Maybe.
And just like sent her in to like do like this puppet, like go through the motions to get the idea that he was dead. Maybe.
Interesting. That could be something.
Yeah.
That could be maybe it.
I was reading on Reddit today about some of this stuff. Like some people's rumors, like to get like the real Taskmaster into the MCU would be like to have like, oh, the real Taskmaster saved the daughter and Dreykov from the building explosion.
Mm-hmm.
But he was sent to prison for some or like he was like sent away, or he was captured for some reason, and then the other chick was just used as the prototype. But he was also like, I don't know, there was something with like him being part of it or saving them, so she would want to go break him out of the prison now that she has free will, because she was the one that saved, or he was the one that saved her,
right,
or something. I don't know. It's a cool idea, but it needs to be fleshed out more.
It needs some work. Yeah.
It's a cool idea if they were to try and bring in that version of Taskmaster, but I don't know.
So, do you have any more thoughts on the movie? Because
I have a few.
Yeah, I know that like you probably have more thoughts than I do.
Yes.
So I wanted to figure out like what you're thinking.
I'm thinking about the first half of the movie was my favorite compared to the latter half.
Yeah,
I was really enjoying the movie up until after they escaped prison. And then it was a little bit, and then it dropped a bit. But it wasn't a hard decline, but it was like, okay, now we're more in a Marvel stage of things.
Yeah.
It made more sense.
Yeah, you had mentioned that.
Before Red Guardian gets into the movie, there's like, the jokes are great. Like, between the two sisters, their chemistry is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really fast-paced after the prison thing.
Yeah. After the prison was fast, like things just seemed to get going, but they needed to, because it was a slow burn in the beginning, which is what I liked.
Yeah.
But like that whole bit from the point of where she's on the run, and then the bridge stuff with Taskmaster, and then going to Budapest and finding the sister there, and the fight they had in the house was amazing.
Yes.
And the street chase, have you seen the Jason Bourne movies?
I feel like I have in the past, but like when I was way younger. Like I don't remember them completely.
Bourne Ultimatum, which is the scene there's a fight scene in a house like that in a very similar place, where there's a fight very similar, that whole sequence from Budapest and the fight and the chase sequence and all that it seemed very Jason Bourne, very action heavy, quick cuts, chasing down the streets, running around. It worked for me because I love those movies.
Yeah.
I'll show you the scene that I'm talking about specifically. There's the fight scene that the sisters have versus what Jason Bourne has, like in like this bathroom. These quick cuts, really hard hitting, seems like really damaging, like good fights. I thought the fights in this were pretty good.
Yeah.
The choreography was, I liked the fast cutting and I know it doesn't work like to show like people doing the stunts. It's a very specific kind of editing, which is those quick cuts, which Christopher Rouse was very famously known for doing in that Bourne movie. But it worked really well for, I think, the setting of that scene. And then they changed up the editing style for the other fights, which seemed more Marvel-like to me. But I think once they got the funny man in there, it really set in as a Marvel movie. Before that, I think it felt very different. It felt very dark and more as grounded as it could be. It seemed very grounded until we got to the prison. Yeah. And the whole avalanche thing with the helicopter kind of put it back in Marvel status. But I really liked the spy mission Jason Bourne style they had at the beginning really well.
Yeah. I can see what you're saying. Like, I actually think the same.
Yeah.
The beginning of the movie was definitely the better half.
There was a tone shift once Red Guardian came in.
Yeah.
And then it became this big family funny drama with some heart and action.
Yeah.
I think they said family in this movie about as much as they say it in Fast and Furious.
Oh my gosh.
But
how many times did they actually say family in that movie?
I don't know. They only really started saying it once Red Guardian came in.
No. I'm not talking about Black Widow. I'm talking about Fast.
Oh, I don't know. You're gonna have to count. You can probably look up how many times have they said family in the Fast and Furious franchise. I guarantee you someone has counted. But there was a really good moment at the table when Natasha was like just telling them straight, you're an idiot and you're a coward for doing all this, and like it when Yelena was like kind of breaking down about it was real for me. Like that scene, I loved. That scene was great. The whole stuff
powerful.
Like in the house, yeah, that scene worked great, and then everything around it was a little bit, it didn't fit as well. I think from the moment that scene happens to like when Red Room show up was a really great sequence. Before, when it's like with the pigs and all the other stuff he's putting on the suit, like I get his character at that point. Like if you think of his character as like this flawed guy who was never really loved but just wants to be who everybody thinks he was and like himself, it really works. But it's also, I think that character could have been a lot stronger if it wasn't the constant jokes. But again, that's how Marvel does their thing, so you can't really complain at this point, which people love. Some people love that. I'm more of a fan of the serious, the more mature tones, but Marvel needs to get a wider audience, which is why they don't do it.
Yeah.
So, but that scene was really nice. And then at the end, they had their moment before everybody leaves on the helicopter again. But I want to know what happened within those 2 weeks. Remember, because like they all left and she stayed, and like Ross was coming up with like the cavalry, and then it cuts away 2 weeks later, and then she has her blonde hair.
Yeah.
I want to know how she got out of that, because she obviously probably wasn't arrested. She had to have escaped, I would think.
And why did she have blonde hair?
Because she's on the run from Ross.
Did not look good on her.
She had blonde hair in Infinity War. And this takes place before it.
Oh, I don't remember.
That vest that she has at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That she got from the sister, she wears that throughout Infinity War. So that whole movie was just like, this is where she gets the vest from.
No way.
So now that carries a little bit more meaning if you watch Infinity War, probably, because she has that vest on the whole time. And the jet that she gets at the end from her friend is what Cap and everybody uses as transport in Infinity War.
Yeah.
So it's just connecting a few dots there. But I really would like to know what happened in those 2 weeks from the moment that Ross showed up to how she got out to go help Cap break everybody out.
You're right. This is the vest, and she does have that hair.
I like that moment in the car when they were like, it has so many pockets you never even know. That's the first thing I ever bought myself.
Dude,
what is that, army surplus?
So Black
That
Widow,
was a really good moment.
I don't think she actually liked the vest.
I think she just took it out of like love for her sister.
Yeah, she just wanted to make her feel good.
Whereas she was giving it to her, it's like, well, you're gonna need this. She's like, all right, and I think she just either she grew into it, or she's just wearing it for her sister.
Yeah, it's maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, I love. She was like, you're right, it is good. She's like, yes, I knew you'd love it. That was a really good moment because that's funny, but it wasn't forced either. There was this moment between two siblings that I think worked really well.
Yeah,
and the moment at the table before they steal the car worked really well too.
It's like a conversation you'd have with a sibling.
Yeah. But I mean, if you think of the stuff with all the jokes that Red Guardian was making based off of how like flawed his character is and what he wants as like just a person and wants to be the hero again, it makes a lot more sense as to why he's trying to do these things, but he doesn't know how because he wasn't the real father, so he's just failing, which is what he says at the end. Which Natasha was like, don't you have something to say? And he's like, I just mess it up. And then they just have their moment and they hold hands and then everybody leaves. So I think it works as a great Marvel movie. I think the first half is a really great movie. But overall, it's a good Marvel movie. I'm not going to trash on it, just to trash on it. There are things I wasn't a fan of, but
I'd say it's like a solid 6.5.
Yeah, that's what the board was saying too. I would say around 6.5. I don't want to give it a 7 because I feel like everybody rates every movie a 7.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, IGN. Every movie you rate is a 7.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah.
IGN's listening.
That movie probably would have been an 8 for me if it stuck to how the first half was going. I would have really enjoyed it, but they went Marvel, so it's obviously gonna my not opinion. My preference isn't the Marvel formula.
Right.
So I can enjoy it if it's done great. And it's been done great at times. This, I think it's been done good or been done well this time around. It's been done better in other iterations or with other movies, but I think it's an overall good movie. The only thing that I think it was lacking was obviously a villain, which Marvel has problems with doing great villains, and the score didn't seem very memorable to me. I can't really think of like a theme for her based off of what I remember.
No. I don't remember.
I liked the cover of Nirvana at the beginning.
Dude, that was so sick. That
was really cool, and it was really like somber and like depressing with all the visuals of all the girls being taken and all this like imagery. That
made me feel something for sure.
It was really sick. I'm like, oh, this movie's going in this direction, and it did for that first half, and then they went. Obviously, what I've been talking about, but I really like that cover. I looked up that cover is like it's above like Nirvana right now on Spotify. Because you type in smells, and the first thing that comes up is the cover, not Nirvana right now.
Really?
Yeah. It's by, what's her name? Malia J? M-A-L-I-A?
Malia J.
Malia. I'm stupid. I can't pronounce. Malia J. What are the plays on it? I would assume it's up to 2 million now.
Wow.
So she's getting some heat from it. Some good heat. But if we want to talk about a Marvel product that has had amazing music, I'm going to be gushing about Loki right now. Yes. The music for this show is probably my favorite music out of every MCU project they've ever made.
Really?
Yes.
Why is that?
I'll play some of it for you later. I don't want to do it right now to take up too much time.
Yeah.
But it's just it's weird it's different than what you would expect from a Marvel production to do for music. Like it's very emotional, it seems very personal. Like there's very somber moments with this music and then it can go big, it can go small. It has range that I don't think a lot of Marvel music has. They've released the first 3 episodes worth of music. They haven't released the second 3 episodes yet. The music was composed by Natalie Holt. I'm not not familiar with a lot of her stuff, but I will be now after hearing what she's done on the show. So,
nice.
I've really enjoyed what she's done, and I hope she does a lot more with. Well, obviously, I think she will, from what everything has been. How everybody has received the series, and people are loving the music. So I think things can go well for what she's doing. I don't know. I haven't looked at her career based off of what she's done to see how well known she is, but it's a part of my gym playlist.
What else do you have to say about Loki then?
Loki, beautiful. Cinematography is beautiful. It does not look like a Marvel show, which I love.
Where can this be found?
On Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. I might have to get it then.
Mm-hmm. And
I'll have to start watching it.
Have you seen most of the Marvel stuff? I would assume probably most of it.
I've seen most of it.
You're probably not going to remember most of it.
The one thing that I haven't seen completely, I started watching it, I didn't finish it, was Endgame. And the reason I didn't finish it is because I was in training and some other dude was watching it, and I kept having to go, like, do stuff. So I didn't get to watch the whole thing.
Gotcha. So you kind of understand Loki's journey, mostly?
Yeah.
So you know that he gets his neck snapped.
Oh, does he at the end of Endgame?
Infinity War.
Oh, Infinity War?
Infinity War, he does.
Oh, I don't remember.
Well, this version of Loki is from the first Avengers movie. So
okay, so
it's that version of Loki, and then he goes on a totally different journey. So you don't really need it.
So it's like it's a separate sort of storyline?
Well, did you get to the part in Endgame where they started their time travel?
I know that Tony was like going through time and yeah.
Because they go through time and they mess something up, and the Loki escapes. There's a Loki from Avengers. They screw up and they go back in time, and that Loki ends up escaping.
Oh.
And that's the version of Loki that you follow in the show.
No way.
Yes,
that's
and
actually cool.
There's a lot of stuff that happens between then and.
This is the Tesseract Loki?
Yes, him. The one that's obsessed with that and obsessed with taking over New York or whatever.
Nice. Heck yeah, dude.
What was that? I don't know what that was. Maybe that's my dog.
I don't know.
My dog? Hold on. I think that's my dog. Okay. Anyway, that's the version of Loki that you follow, and it's a very personal story, which I like. Obviously, as a person who loves character films, but the finale is very, very eye-opening, as in what's to come for Marvel, because it pretty much breaks everything.
No.
And like, really? Oh no, there's a lot that's gonna happen now.
Really?
Because the way that they're handling these movies right now is that Loki sets up pretty much the next phase of Marvel. What happens in the finale is affecting Spider-Man, which comes out in December. It's heavily affected by that, which is why people are rumoring, oh, Toby and Andrew are going to show up as other versions of Spider-Man. Because of what happens at the end of Loki pretty much breaks reality and time, so it's an effect, and that's what Spider-Man is going to be dealing with in his movie partially.
Ooh.
And then the following year, there's Doctor Strange and the Multi-Verse of Madness.
Yo.
So it's going to be Doctor Strange trying to fix everything.
Whenever we get into multiverse territory, it gets crazy.
I know, and that's pretty much what Loki is all about.
Oh, yes.
It's multiverse stuff, and different versions of people, and timekeepers, and people who control time and all this junk.
Dude.
So Doctor Strange will deal with that, and he has to pretty much try and fix everything, is what people are assuming he's doing.
Yeah.
And Scarlet Witch is going to be in it. She's going to be in the movie as well. And people are hoping Loki will be, now that this has happened at the end of the series. And that movie is supposed to be like a horror film. It's supposed to be scary. because everything that happens is supposed to go really wrong. And then the following year...
Dude, I kind of like when stuff goes really wrong.
Yeah, it's gone really wrong. Let's just say it's gone really wrong. And then the following year, Ant-Man 3 is connected because a person that they introduce in the finale, he's a version of Kang. You're not going to know Kang, probably. Kang the Conqueror. He's pretty much someone like hell-bent on controlling all of time and ruling all of time. Not just like the moment that he lives in, but every moment before and after.
Interesting.
So like he lives in every moment, and he's the one that is at end of time and like is like the big puppet master of the end of Loki.
Whoa.
Which I'm telling you now because you have no idea who he is anyway.
Yeah.
So like he's the big reveal or whatever. And then things go to shit, and then there's like a big oh no, like he immediately goes back to where he was. Throughout the series, like they have this hub base, and like things have already changed, so like stuff has already been set in motion that's gone wrong, and the show has been approved and confirmed for a season 2.
Ooh.
So that probably won't be coming until next year, or announced probably until next year, which is why people are thinking he might show up in Doctor Strange, since he has a lot to do with how that whole dynamic works. And there is a run of comics where Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Loki team up, and they have like a whole dynamic that is really interesting, so people are hoping that's what's going to happen.
How does one even keep up with all these different various like universes and like storylines and like groups? And
you just watch the movies and you hope you have a good memory, which is what I do. I am very lucky to have a very good memory of remembering all these things without having to keep rewatching the movies. So,
dude, at one point there should be like, we should have a week or something where just movie marathon where we watch like all of the Marvel,
all 22, 23 movies and 3 TV shows.
Yeah, we should. Well, yes. 3 TV shows. Imagine just watching all that in a week.
Well, they're like 6 episodes, 8 episodes. They're not long.
Yeah. So, but all in chronological order.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be crazy.
I've done that. I did that for my thing.
You did?
Yeah, for my movie a day, I watched them all, just in chronology. No, I don't think I did. I did release order.
Oh my gosh.
I skipped Captain Marvel because I was not a fan of that movie and I wasn't gonna watch it again.
Dude.
So.
For sure.
I
didn't even care.
I just didn't care to watch
look into that movie.
It didn't have anything that interested me really. So.
Yeah. I forgot that was even a movie.
Yeah, I mean it's just really just a movie to be like, oh, that's the person that's in Endgame. It doesn't really add to the story really. She's just like, oh, this is who this character is.
Yeah.
So. But, oh, speaking of Loki. There's a call out. This whole movie, Black Widow, is all based off of one line that Loki gives in the first Avengers movie.
Really?
Remember when he's imprisoned in the cell?
Okay.
Like he's on the helicarrier and he's in that cell, and then
Black
Widow comes to like interrogate him. And like he screams at her and he's like, he goes up to the wall or whatever, and like she like fakes crying. She's like, oh, so that's your plan. Thank you. And then she leaves. She does that whole bit where like he tries to like get in her head and break her down. He says he's trying to humiliate her and like bring her down. And he's like, who are you to be someone like doing all these good things? And he says, don't you remember Dreykov's daughter and the hospital fire and this and this and this? And Dreykov's daughter was in the movie Black Widow.
Wow! So
that one line is a whole setup for the Black Widow movie. Why she's haunted by what she did to the daughter is what Loki tries to do to bring her down. Is all tied to that one little scene in Avengers.
Dude, how do people write these things? Where
it's they used it. It was just written as an offset line for Loki. It was just used as that for him to like be shown as like this menacing person to get in their head, and they just decided, oh, we could use that in this Black Widow movie. So they just used it.
So
it wasn't
so
like
it wasn't
planned out. Oh no, it was not planned out that far ahead.
Dude, I thought maybe it was planned out that far ahead. I was like, wait, how the frick did they do that?
If Kevin Feige is a god, then that is how he planned it out. But I don't think they planned it out that far ahead. That movie came out in 2012, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think they planned that far ahead. They usually probably plan one phase ahead, so like the next round of movies ahead. But I don't think they planned it that far. I think they just like, oh, there's a cool little tidbit there that we could use.
Yeah.
As like a good foundation for her character, since it's apparently this big moment that she has a fake breakdown over. But now we know it probably wasn't fake.
So how much of the movies are like true to what the comics are?
My knowledge of Marvel Comics is not gigantic. From what I understand, it's about like they don't go 100%. They don't go 100% off the trail. They pick and choose what to use, and they like manipulate things, like Taskmaster. That's not the version of Taskmaster from the comics, but they melded it to be this mimic character that can do all these things, that has a very similar costume, but the identity of that character is different, and they do a little bit different things.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very similar to like you look at like Batman. There's a whole bunch of different iterations of Batman, and they all have little moments that call back to comics or different like comic runs or different stories, but it's not like one-to-one. There's too many comics to be like 100% accurate to the character, because they all have different iterations in themselves. So they usually tend to pick and choose what little bits they like to add to the story or manipulate slightly. Or I want to say it's probably like 50. I want to say 50-50, but it's probably not. But from my knowledge, it seems like it's 50% they take from comic lore and they implement it, and the other 50% is they take from comic lore and then mesh that together with their own ideas to fit the stories they want to tell.
Yeah. For me, I was just thinking, like, how do they tell these stories where there's, like, no continuity errors, and then, you know,
it's all planned out ahead of time.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
It's all planned out from the beginning, from the moment Disney got, I would assume it might have been, since Kevin Feige does it all. He plans everything. So, like, Iron Man 1 all the way to, if you think about it, all the way to Endgame is all the same continuity.
Yeah.
It has callbacks, all those movies in between. Then again, not all the movies are necessary to know the continuity, but it's all necessary to, like, understand all the little callbacks and stuff they make.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much like they seed things here and there that will be used later on. They don't completely like plan out every story ever.
Right.
They have like the people come in and probably write the story that they want to write. And then they go, oh, where can we fit this in for later? Where can we fit this in to call back? That's how I assume they would do it, unless they just have this big master plan of every movie they're going to make in this. They know every story for each character that they're going to make for each movie, so it can lead up to this moment, or they just make the stories they want to make and then see how it can fit for later down the line.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, it's a lot of work.
Of course.
And no matter how much people say, or how much I say that, like, oh, these Marvel movies are not great, or you pick on some stuff or you pick on other stuff, it's like, yeah, you might not like these specific ones, but what they've done is incredible.
Oh,
and you can't knock them for what they've done or for how they do it. What they do works, and it works for what they're doing, so they're going to keep doing it. You might not like it, but that's how they do their shtick.
Yeah.
And it's worked for over 10 years, so I think they're going to stick to it until they feel like they need to change. And as of right now, I don't think they need to change, because it's been working so well for them. So.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to episode 10. That was the Black Widow episode slash Loki episode.
Slash Loki sprinkle.
Yeah, a little
the
sprinkle.
Black Widow sundae with the Loki peanuts on top.
Yeah, sure.
What, do you not have like nuts on your ice cream and all that?
I don't know. I don't eat ice cream really too often, so. But I don't think I've ever had nuts. Dairy. Maybe almonds.
Really, never? Almonds or peanuts or almonds? Yeah, crushed peanuts or crushed almonds.
Okay, yeah.
It might be crushed
Okay,
almonds that I'm thinking of.
I was thinking like
just
whole
pieces.
I was thinking whole pieces for whatever
you might
reason.
see like whole almonds in like ice cream sometimes, but like crushed peanuts on top of like the sundae or whatever at McDonald's is what I was referencing or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wore my Marvel shirt for today.
Heck yeah, dude.
It's nice and full of sweat right now. I can feel it. I know it's inaccurate, but I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
He shouldn't have his helmet on for this scene, but it doesn't matter because it's an artist's rendition.
There you go.
And drawing a face is a lot harder than drawing a helmet.
There you go.
Yeah. So
yeah, that was episode 10, and we had a lot of fun watching the movie. It
was good to finally go see a movie with the boys.
Yes.
Every movie I've seen since we've been able to go back to theaters has been by myself. Because everybody either doesn't want to go or just can't. So I'm like, oh, I'll just go watch a movie by myself. It's nice to not be in a theater by myself.
And we're gonna rent out a movie theater next month for his birthday.
Oh, we are? Okay. We can see Free Guy.
Ooh. Oh, what
it comes
day
out
is
on the
Free
13th. The 13th. The day, that's the day before my birthday.
Maybe we'll be able to do that.
That's a Friday.
We should definitely do that. I would love to see Free Guy because I love Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I love him.
He dropped another trailer for the movie as Deadpool.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, he did a reaction to the trailer.
That's actually dope. I love breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah. Do you remember Korg?
Korg?
Korg from Thor, the rock guy.
Yeah.
He's with him. No way. Since Deadpool is now owned by Disney, he's technically in the MCU now.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So his first appearance in the MCU is doing a trailer reaction to Free Guy with Korg.
Oh, that's sick.
It's great. And the guy that plays Korg is Taika Waititi, and he's in Free Guy as well, which is why they probably did it. Oh. They're both in Free Guy.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah. But it was really good. It's a really interesting way to get him into the MCU, was doing a reaction video. Like a fourth wall thing, too. But yeah. That was a long-winded goodbye.
We always do that.
We always do it.
Because we go on little tangents.
And I always like, oh, wait, no, I want to say one more thing.
And it's like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be, like, pertaining to the topic.
Oh,
we talked about ice cream a second ago. So
delicious.
Oh.
And I want to say one more thing, because next week is my final week of movies a day.
Ooh.
And we will be watching one more movie before we do a break from movies. We are watching Steve Jobs, yes?
Yes.
What date will that be on, my last day? Because that's the last movie I'm watching. Oh, that's a Thursday. Next Thursday is my last day for one movie a day.
That's crazy.
So I will be watching Steve Jobs and having this gentleman across from the screen join me.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Next Friday. And then we'll do something else besides movies. We've done like 3 in a row or whatever. We're going to be doing 3 in a row, so we'll give it a...
Hey, I liked it though. Like, honestly.
I know, but yeah. I'd watch movies once a week and do it, but get some variety in there for the peoples.
Right.
And Lodge just got new music that he's been releasing, so we can talk about that too.
Yes.
And he's got another song coming out Friday, so that's the third one.
This Friday?
Yeah, I think
Tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so. Another one, yeah. That's the third one that he's released.
Okay, sick.
Or going to release, yeah. So we can chat about those.
I'm retired my ass.
I don't think he ever was going to retire. I think he just wanted to take some time off to raise his child.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, but saying, hey, I'm going to retire is a great marketing way to
Dude, because then everybody listens to the music.
Yeah, and everybody wants to buy it because it's the last thing he's ever going to make.
Yes, which is big brain.
Yeah,
big brain.
Bobby Boy smart.
Bobby Boy smart, baby.
And so are you for listening to this entire episode.
There you go. If you made it this far, you're extra smart.
Extra smart. Extra beautiful.
And like you're actually extra smart, too. If you hit the button, it says subscribe.
Or follow.
On the YouTube, and then follow on the Spotify.
Spotify's.
If you press that button, you actually get extra smart points.
Yeah. So your brain you feel it in your brain. You just like...
Has more wrinkles. And the wrinkles are good. Because the information
no soft brains.
seeps in.
Our listeners and our viewers aren't soft brains.
Nope.
They're big brains.
Wrinkly stinky wrinkly brains.
No, they ain't stinky.
It's not stinky.
They
it's
smell
not stinky.
beautiful. They have the pheromones of a god or goddess, just like how the pheromones blocked Scarlett Johansson, Natasha from hitting Drake up because of his smelly pheromones.
I hated that.
And then, okay, that was badass though. When she's like, "Thank you for your cooperation," and she busts her nose on the desk, and she's like, "I can punch you now." That was badass. Yeah. And then she snaps it back. I'm like, "Ooh."
Yeah, that was badass. Cool. All right, well.
Alrighty. Thank you all for watching, for listening, and we will see you next week. He's got to go take another dump. We'll see you next week.